name is Brell Froby, and I live in Bellingham, Washington. Grew up in Lummi and Nooksack Territory, so-called Whatcom County, and I got involved in working on forest protection through wanting to protect a timber sale right above where I grew up, and it's on the middle fork of the Nooksack River. And through the work of trying to protect this forest, it brought me into collaboration with the Center for Responsible Forestry, which is an organization that is trying to protect all legacy forests on state lands in Washington state. So a legacy forest is a term that describes a certain kind of forest that naturally regenerated. So it was logged at one point in time, but rather than being clear cut and then replanted as a monocrop forest plantation, it had the chance to naturally regenerate and go through the different stages, different successions of an ecological process that made it a fully functioning ecosystem, or part of a fully functioning ecosystem and habitat. Legacy forests often were cut last around 1945. They're really important for a number of reasons. They are our best chance at regaining old growth habitat, which have virtually disappeared on state lands in Washington state. And because they are in the process of naturally regenerating, if left alone, they will become healthy old growth habitat. They also, because they have trees that are 80 to 130 years old, they store and sequester huge amounts of carbon. And forests of the Pacific Northwest are some of the most carbon-rich, biomass-rich forests in the United States. Whereas these younger tree plantations, while they sequester carbon at a faster rate, their biomass is smaller so that they're storing less carbon. And when these forests are cut, the first 15 years, they're actually emitting, there's net emissions rather than net sequestration. So it takes at least 15 years for these younger forests to actually start having the climate change benefits that we want them to see. And they're also really important for our communities and watersheds to adapt to the climate crisis. So these older forests are much more resilient when it comes to flooding and landslides and erosion and wildfires. So we know that plantation forests burn hotter and faster than these mature forests. And when we're looking at a watershed, we see this in the Nooksack watershed where we live. There's a crisis going on where there's the possibility that salmon could go extinct even as soon as 2050, which is really alarming. And it's kind of an existential crisis for this watershed in many ways. So we know that the reason why this crisis is occurring is because of really, really low summer stream flows. There's just not enough water in the summer, and temperatures are too high. Those two things are connected. These mature forests, there's incredible research that shows that mature forests use less water in the summer than these younger plantation forests, and they also retain water in the winter. So they can help with flooding and reducing sedimentation, which is really important.
Do you ever know